Oh, James, how do you do the things you do? I still can't believe that it's true. I get hungry when I think of you. Like champagne and caviar, you're such a treat. Like cherries to believe, you're oh so sweet. You whet my appetite each time we meet. Oh, James, it's true. I get hungry when I think of you.
Welcome to the Urban Peasant. Now, this is the cooking show that just might change your life. It'll teach you to cook, not to be a chef, but how to cook. Simple things, ordinary things, things that you've got and you can find in the corner store. You can do it, your spouse can do it, anybody can do it. You use your imagination, and it's like making love. You do the best you can with what you got. Now, let's just have a look at this here right now. Let's take this carrot. Plain, ordinary old carrot, which we're going to make into something quite wonderful. We'll grate it. Why we're going to grate it? We could cut it up, but all we're really doing is making it smaller. It's easier if I break it in half, okay? And just grate it down until it's turned into a lot of small carrot. That's all there is to it. And you can do it slowly and talk to people, or you can do it fast, or you can do whatever you like. You let the kids do it, you let everybody do it. So there we are. We've got our carrot grated, all right? Now we get a saucepan, and we put it on the stove. You have to have a saucepan, and you turn it on. And you put in it some butter. Now, why are we going to put butter in? Well, because we haven't got any stock. So if we put some butter in there, it'll meld with the sugar and the carrots and the stuff, because there's sugar in the carrots, and it will turn into a stock. So you cut a nice piece, that size piece, or you could cut that size piece if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. Whatever pleases you, put it in the saucepan. All right? While it melts, you get yourself an onion, and you cut it up. Now look, let me show you how to cut up an onion. You have to have the knife sharp. You cut through the onion like that, and then you cut through it again so it's in quarters. Now you take this bit, see the hairy end on it, and you just put your knife through there, and you pull, and the skin comes off. You got the skin pulled off without having to mess with it. Soon as you've got, let's see if this one will go here, there. Just to show you, there, the skin comes off, and we do that again there, and we put the carrot into the butter. As soon as you can smell the butter, can you smell the butter? All right, there it is. Keep your nose working. Keep your nose working around the kitchen, and you'll know when things need stirring and turning over. All right, so here we are, another onion. Just peel the outside off it, cut the brown bit off, and we've got onion ready. Now, we'll cut up the onion a little bit. Why do we cut it up? So it will cook quickly. I mean, that's all there is to it. If we're going to do this faster than a pizza, then we better get on with it. So carrots, onions, and we're going to make it taste nice. We're going to make it taste nice with some ginger. Now, don't be scared of ginger. You buy it like this. You don't have to peel it. Just break a bit off. When you want to make it smaller, use the grater again. All right? So there we are. A little bit of ginger, which is very good for you. Very good for all your mucous membranes. You ever get a cold, put ginger in the dinner, and you'll find that you don't have half those cold symptoms anymore. Now, all those carrots and onions, look at them, are starting to change color because the sugars are coming out of them. They're getting mixed up with the butter. We want to make that into stock. How do we make it into stock? Well, we put it under the tap, and we put in 2 or 3 cups of cold water, or hot water if you've got it, and you just put it back on the fire, and you've started to make the soup. That's it. So there we are. You want a little salt in it to bring the flavors out. Measure the salt like that. Use your hand. Look, let me show you. That's a teaspoonful because my hand's scrunched up. That's a tablespoonful because my hand's wide open. And that, you just know, is too much. That's all you need to know. You don't have to have those little spoons. So we put a little pepper in there. Same thing. Crunch the pepper into your hand. You know how much you've put in there. Put it in. And there we are with maybe a little herb, little spice, little tarragon. Again, use your hand. Use enough of it. Be generous. Use the herbs. Break them up. Why you break them up? So that they let the flavors out. And then you put them in there. Now, I learned that stuff about that from my grandma, who couldn't read. She was illiterate. She was a great cook. And she used to go around my kitchen going, oh, yeah, that goes with chicken. Or, oh, that's really nice with beef. That's how she did it. So we're on the way. We got soup going. And I'll be right back with a great pepper stew. Right, peppers. Now this is going to be a pepper stew, something I learned in Italy. Lovely, flavorful, rich, fragrant smelling, wonderful thing to eat. And all you need is peppers. Red ones, green ones, yellow ones. If you've only got green ones, that's fine too. But they're all the same. And I'll show you how you deal with peppers. You cut the top off right there, right? And having cut the top off, you put your hand in and you pull out the inside. See, there it is. It comes out. All the seeds. It's exactly the same as brain surgery. That's how they teach these guys, all right? If you want to make a fortune. So there, we just pull the insides out, and there. And once you've got them, look, cut the top off, put your hand in, pull it out, bang it. That's it, all right? Now, I'm going to put the pan on. I'm going to put the pan on right now to get hot. Why am I going to put the pan on to get hot with nothing in it? Because I'll tell you a secret, and remember this is really important no matter what you cook. If you put cold oil in a cold pan and then heat it up, everything you put in it sticks. But if you get the pan hot first and then put the oil in, it doesn't stick. I don't know why. It's one of those things, all right? So there you are. I'll put the pan on and get it hot. Now, while I'm doing that, I've got my peppers, and you know how to break them up? You just tear them up, just like that, into pieces that are about the right size. You don't have to have everything exactly the same size. That's cooking to rule, that's cooking to order, that's like being in the army. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is have differences, so that one bit's crunchy and one bit is, different. It's all textures. So we've got our peppers ready to go here, and you could spend a long time measuring it out like that and come out with nice little pieces like that. But I'd rather have a mess like that, all right? And it tastes better. We need an onion. Now, last time we used a brown onion. This time we're going to use a red onion. Doesn't make a lot of difference. There is a bit of difference in the flavor, raw, but cooked, not a great deal. So do it just like we did before. Cut it in half and pull the skin off. There it is. Comes off. Cut the end off. And you've got the onion ready. Now this particular onion, we're not going to cut it up in small pieces. We're not going to grate it, because we want chunks, we want texture. We want it to be, it's a pepper stew. We want it to taste like a pepper stew. We want it to feel like a pepper stew. So there we are. Got it all peeled off. And we're all ready to go. Cut it up in pieces. They don't have to be small, about eighths of an onion. That's it. That's ready to go. Now, there's two more ingredients. There's garlic, which is important, but don't get the garlic press out. Try it this way. Well, let me show you something else before I forget. If onions worry you, if you cry, if you snivel, if you worry, if you're standing there cooking dinner with tears running down your face and your spouse comes home and says, I just got a raise, honey, and you say, I'm delighted. Well, what you do is this. This is a way you get around it. You light a candle, and the candle takes the smells away. That's why they have candles in restaurants. It's not just to provide you with a little glamour. I mean, the glamour helps, but sometimes some of the food you see in restaurants, it does help. But this is to get the smells away. That's what they did in France a long time ago when they first started restaurants. So, garlic, look what I'm doing. I get a piece of garlic, put it on the table, and squash it. Then you pick up the skin. There's the skin. And there's the garlic. It's that easy. And use a lot of garlic. It's very good for you. When you use garlic and you get it on your hands, see the skin came right off that one, just like that. Don't bother with washing them in hot water and soap because that opens your pores. The garlic goes in and it stays in until it comes out, and then you worry about it. But cold water, wash it off. It washes off the oil. So there we are. We've got garlic just roughly chopped up. Everything ready to go. We've got the pan hot, and we're going to put oil in it now. Now, this is olive oil, and we're going to be generous with it because we're going to use this as the sauce, and we're going to dip our bread in it. We're not going to serve butter with it. We're not going to serve butter at all. We're going to put these onions in it, right? And we're going to put these in here now on top of there. I'm going to put the peppers in with it. And we're going to not going to put the garlic in, all right? Why aren't we going to put the garlic in? Because the garlic will burn. All those cookbooks that tell you to brown the garlic, and that's all nonsense. You can't do that. So we're just going to stir that around a little bit. And you don't have to, just stir it around a little tiny bit and make sure that it's ready. Now you can put the garlic in. Now we come to the real secret ingredient, anchovies. Ugh, hold the anchovies. Everybody knows about anchovies. They're all right in Caesar salad, but I wouldn't want to have them in the house all the time. Get some anchovies, try this, and see what happens. The anchovies will melt, and they make a wonderful sauce. Now you can be very particular about it and put in one anchovy fillet. Or you can be brave and trust me, and put the whole lot in there. Just put them in there, let them cook down, and they will dissolve. They won't be there. Nobody will know that they're there. You want some pepper? Put the pepper in your hand. Put that in there. Put some oregano in there. That's what I'm going to do now. And while it's cooking, I'll be right back with a wonderful dish of chicken and oranges. So what am I doing? I'm sharpening a knife. Because it doesn't matter whether you have a knife like that, or a cleaver like that. If it ain't sharp, it ain't worth nothing. So this is how, don't point in standing up and trying to learn how to do that, because it sure is impressive. But what you're liable to finish doing is cutting your thumb off. So try doing it this way. It's not what the professionals do, but it's what sensible people do, all right? Hold the steel like that. Hold the knife at about that angle, about 20 degrees, and slide it down and pull it towards you. Just do that a couple of times every time you use a knife, and you'd be really surprised at what a difference it makes, because a sharp knife won't cut you half as easily as anything else, all right? So that's that. Let me just get this out of the way here. What I'm going to do right now is make this chicken dish, wonderful chicken dish. First of all, put the fry pan on, put some heat underneath it, and get some butter and some oil. Why am I going to use butter and oil? Well, the oil will make a higher temperature, so the chicken will cook quicker and better, and the butter will give it a little bit of flavor. So this time, we're going to let the pan get a little hot, then we'll put the oil in, then we'll put a bit of butter in it, all right? So I'm just going to put that over there for a minute, and I'm going to get some chicken ready. Chicken breast, you can use thighs, you can use bits, it might take a little bit longer, but try, if you can, not to put it on the board you're cutting up with. And I'm not going to do this, I'm just going to take it here, I'm going to skin it without putting it on the board. Why not put it on the board? Well, because chicken on a board can be very dicey in health terms, and you have to wash the board afterwards. So I'm just going to take the skin off this chicken and watch. You get your fingers underneath it, and you pull, and it just comes off like that. It's like getting the snowsuit off a 2-year-old. You just work at it. So there's our bit of chicken. Now look, we want to separate the chicken. This is how God made things. She made them easy. You don't have to have knives and fancy stuff to measure it with. So there's our chicken ready to go. We'll put the oil in the pan now. And we'll put a little bit of butter in with it. Once again, measure the butter carefully. That much, or that much. We'll put in a little bit because it tastes nice. And once that get to melt in there, we'll put the chicken in as soon as it gets hot, and we'll put in some ginger. Now let me show you about the ginger. We're going to make a sort of a julienne. What's a julienne? It's little thin slices. So this is how you do it. You cut a slice, maybe 2 slices, all right? And then you stack the slices up like that, the way they came in the first place, and you just cut them again into little thin slices. See how my sharp knife goes through it? Now they are like matchsticks. And we've got them all set up in matchsticks. That's what we want to do with ginger. Now we're going to put the ginger into the pan and let it cook in there in the oil and the butter, because we want it to get the flavor out. We're going to get flavor out, we're going to make it taste nice, and the flavor out of the oil and the butter will then go into the chicken. So we're just going to do that, and we're just going to get it really, really nice and smelly, because it's nice to have a smell in your kitchen. That's what brings people in. If you want to get people to come and visit you, cook some onions, open the door. It's better than putting an ad in the papers and saying, I'm lonely. People will always come and talk to you when you're cooking onions. It's one of those things. And so there we are. Now we're going to put the chicken in to the hot butter and oil. And we're going to put it in this side down. And we're just going to let it cook until it goes white around the edge. As soon as it goes white around the edge, we'll turn it over. So we want a little pepper on this, because you're not going to put salt on. Because if you put salt on meat before you cook it, it makes it tough. It sucks the juices out of it. The vegetables, you put salt on. Meat, you don't. You put it on afterwards. All right? So a little bit of pepper. See, we measured the pepper into my hand. We know how much we've got in my hand. A bit of pepper. And a little bit of salt for later on, and that's what we've really got to do. Now, oranges. Mandarin oranges we've got here. Let me show you something else too. You peel some oranges, and you don't throw the peel away. What do you do with the peel? You dry it. You dry it on a windowsill near a radiator, and you keep it in a jar. And every time you cook some chicken, you fry it in. That's what they do in a lot of Oriental cooking. You'll find lots of places you can buy nice dried orange peel. Very expensive. It's used a lot. You try it. So now we put the oranges, and we have to turn the chicken over. See, it's gone white around the edge. So we just turn it over, and the underneath is cooked. We turn this over, and the underneath is cooked. In go the oranges. And if you haven't got oranges, use grapes. It's that kind of a dish. And that's what we do. When we come back, we're going to put some broccoli in there. We're going to put some whole mushrooms in with it now. Whole, so they won't cook too quickly. Stir everything around, and that's what we'll do. Put the lid on, and I'll put the broccoli on, this nice broccoli, when I come back. And give you the best dessert you ever did see. 30 seconds. Cutting up the broccoli to put into the chicken, all right? Now, so I'm going to put that in there so it'll steam, all right? Now, while I've got it open, let's have a look at everything else that we're cooking. Look, we got that wonderful colored pepper stew. We got this great broccoli and chicken and orange, all those colors in contrast with one another. I'm just going to put the lid back on that one so it'll cook while we're doing. Over here, look what we got. We got rice, we got soup. We got this lovely soup, and the rice, while you were during the break, I put some chopped green onions on top of it and put a little turmeric in it. Turmeric is yellow stuff you can buy in just about any Oriental store. It's dirt cheap, it's really good, and it makes things look pretty, which is what you want. Now, so there's the rice. We finished, we'll just keep that warm for a minute. I squeezed half an orange into the soup, and now it's time to finish it with some yogurt. You can use, if you want to, you can use whipping cream, you can use a little bit of milk, but yogurt is nice because it gives it a sort of acidity, and it also makes it taste good. So I'm just going to whiz this up and make it smooth. All the bits that are in there I'm going to make smooth. You don't have to smooth it out if you don't want to. You can eat it with the lumps in. It tastes just as good, but this is the way they do it in fancy restaurants. So there it is. And if you want to make it look pretty, you put a little bit of parsley on the top. So that's the soup done. That's that. We just get rid of this right for now. Put that over there, and I'll show you something wonderful. The chicken needs a little bit of flavoring, needs a little bit of thyme. So once again, rub the thyme, put it on there, just toss it a little bit so the flavors get in there and get melded or get married. There's a term in French called le mariage, and we're just going to put a little bit of vinegar into the stew. Why vinegar? Vinegar gives it a little acidity, a little contrast, like black and white photography, so you can see it. Now watch. Just watch this now. This is a dessert I learned in Japan, and it's wonderful. Quick, so quick you wouldn't believe it. You cut the ends, cut an orange in half, cut the ends off. Take a little knife and you poke it through the middle. They do this in sushi bars. I've seen it in Tokyo. And you cut the inside of the meat out of the orange. Just have to practice once. You put the lid back in, pop that in there. You cut up the meat. You make it look into, bite-sized pieces. You put it back in the thing, all sort of piled up like lugs. Then you take a grape and you pop a grape in the middle like that. And then you get a nice plate and you put it on the plate. Now, you don't go sneaking into the guests at dinner and say, I'm sorry, it's just oranges for dessert. You look proud and you say, great, I've got this wonderful dessert. But you don't only have to do it for dessert. You can take it up some for breakfast in bed and you say, honey, I brought you breakfast in bed. And they just melt. It's much better than chocolates. Now, if you'd like these recipes, send us a stamped, self-addressed envelope. That's to the Urban Peasant, care of 6992 Cypress Street, Vancouver, BC, V6P 5M1. And if you just want to write, that's fine too. So do write us, because that's what the Urban Peasant's all about. Great food that you can cook out of stuff that you can buy anywhere at all. You buy any. Look what we got here. Wonderful chicken dish with oranges and broccoli. Look at the colors in the pepper stew. We got this great soup. We even got dessert. Now, it shows you how you can just use a little imagination and then suddenly you've got something absolutely wonderful. Remember that if you haven't got something, you can't use it. You have to make do with what you've got. And essentially, right down at the bottom of it, the bottom line is, there's 4 things you can do with food when you bring it home. You can bake it, boil it, fry it, or screw it up. That's it. See ya.